Today on the Checks and Balances podcast, we are talking about college education, the cost, and how to manage those expenses. Over the years, I've talked to hundreds of parents about college education, and the vast majority feel the obligation to help their children with those expenses or really to just flat out cover the cost. The obvious problem is cost. The diploma doesn't come cheap. Unless you're very well off financially, it's difficult to sit on the sidelines for years and then suddenly find the money to pay for college. The best thing to do is to start saving as early as possible, even if you're able to only save a small amount at first. If we really look at college, how much does it cost? For the 2020-2021 academic year, the average annual cost of attendance of college is $26,820 for a 4-year public university. And that's for in-state students. It's over $43,000 for 4-year public college for out-of-state tuition, and over $54,000 for 4-year private colleges. And many are much more expensive than that. The total cost of attendance would include direct bill costs for tuition, fees, room, board, plus a sum for books, transportation, and personal expenses. We sourced this information from the College Board's Trends in College Pricing and Student Aid for 2020. It's a likely bet that costs will continue to rise. The question is how much. Annual increases typically are in the range of 3 to 6%. Certainly that would keep them in line with the historical trends. Let's keep in mind that the actual percentage increase in any year could be higher or lower depending on if you're going public to private, any of those different scenarios. Most parents save less than 100% of their child's education costs. Typically, they set aside enough money to make a down payment on the college bill. And then when college time comes, the parents supplement that down payment with money from their current income, a federal direct plus loan, a private loan, like if you go get a home equity line of credit, investments, so they may get them from mutual funds or 401k or an IRA. They look at federal and college need-based or merit financial aid. So that would be student loans, grants, scholarships. The child may have some savings, some investments, maybe a part-time job, might even get a gift from the grandparents. And most people are really banking on that scholarship that never seems to come. The question that I get from parents is, how much should I save? My answer is always the same: more. The more money you put aside now, the less your child will need to borrow later. And we start this process by estimating your child's costs of 4 years of college. And then we kind of decide how much you want to spend. You want to cover 100%, 75%, 50%, and so on. And we use financial calculators to determine how much you'll need to save in order to get to that goal on a month-to-month basis. In many cases, the amount of money you should save each month comes down to how much you can afford. Every situation is going to be different. When your child is young, you have time to select investments that have the potential to outpace college cost increases. You have to keep in mind that investments that offer potentially higher returns may involve a greater risk of loss. That's possible. In addition, you're going to benefit from compounding, which is the process of earning additional funds on the interest and capital gains that your investment earns along the way. With regular investments spread over many years, you would be surprised how much you can accumulate for your child's education. Really, you shouldn't feel bad if you can't put aside hundreds of dollars every month right from the start. Start with something small. So let's say $25 or $50 a month, and then you can add to it whenever you want to. You'll have a good head start, and you should feel good that you're doing the best that you can. To start that savings process, I would consider a 529 plan. 529 plans are tax advantage accounts that can be used to cover educational expenses from kindergarten through graduate school. 529 plans are run by the individual states, and those rules will differ based on each state. Some states have tax advantages, some plans have prepaid tuition, but every plan offers tax advantages for federal income tax. In essence, you can save money and allow the savings to grow tax deferred, and if used for educational expenses, the gains are not taxed at the federal level. That's about all the time we have. If you'd like to learn more, please contact our office at 252-215-2241 or leave us a comment on our Facebook page and we'll contact you. And that's Curley Financial on Facebook.
Advisory services offered through Capital Analysts or Lincoln Investment, registered investment advisors. Security offered through Lincoln Investment, broker-dealer, member FINRA-SIPC. www.lincolninvestment.com. Robinson & Associate and the above firm are independent and non-affiliated. The views and opinions expressed herein are those of the authors noted and may or may not represent the views of Capital Analysts or Lincoln Investment. The materials presented is provided for informational purposes only. Nothing contained herein should be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. As with all investments, past performance is no guarantee of future results. No person or system can predict the market. All investments are subject to risk, including the risk of principal loss.